This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
All right, good morning. Happy Thursday. Wow, it's almost the end of the work week. We're slowly getting there. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here at KSLA News 12. Hope you're having a good day so far. It's already a better start to the day than yesterday weather-wise outside. Here's a look at that First Alert Doppler radar where you can actively see tropical depression Francine on our map there. Out to the east, the majority of the rain wrapped around it and way off to the east side. We'll get to that in just a moment. But here locally in the Arklatex, things are drying up. Unfortunately, the skies are not parting. Still pretty cloudy here across the Arklatex for our region. But, well, at least we're getting rid of the rain here more. It was raining a good bit starting early this morning around Texarkana in the northern half of the Arklatex, but that's since cleared itself up a good bit now. Hello, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas, and I hope you're having a great day so far. Today again, we're clearing things up for a brighter and better future. A brighter and better tomorrow for Friday. Friday, sunshine's back out. Today, you might see a few peaks of it, yes, but today is, I want to call it mainly a transitional day. We're slowly leading into the sunshine here for tomorrow. We're slowly squeezing out the last little rags of moisture. There's still more chances of rain here for later today. We'll talk about that later, but one thing I want to get to is we started streaming on YouTube, actually, 2 days ago for the hurricane. We had a stream also on Facebook as well, besides our usual stream on KSLA.com and all of our live stream at all the places you watch our live stream. I think I'm talking over with some of my management, and I think we're going to try this regularly, not Facebook, but we're going to try to stream on YouTube regularly each and every episode. This is a game changer, honestly, because, and I mentioned that because, usually on the live stream and on KSLA.com, it's kind of a one-way picture. I'm talking to you guys. I cannot hear anything back from you. Obviously, I'm staring at a camera and talking to myself in a newsroom. Yeah, see, no one's looking at me. Anyways, if I turn this camera around. Anyways, so yeah, YouTube makes a game changer because you guys can talk to me. I have the chat pulled up, just so you know, it's over here. If you see my eyes looking this way when I'm on camera, sorry, let me look at it. I'm looking right there. I'm looking right now at the YouTube live stream. So don't be confused. Don't be weirded out. I'm looking way over, but I have a bunch of different screens to control a bunch of different things. The YouTube live stream is right over there. I can already see that we have one comment. See the beauty of YouTube already. Thank you for your comment, Beverly. It says, thank you for updates on the weather. You are absolutely welcome. That's part of the docket here today, and part of our agenda. So yeah, if you want a chance to write a comment to me, you can get on our live stream on YouTube. It's KSLA News 12. It's our profile on YouTube. You just click on there, watch the live stream, and you can type whatever you want. You can ask me questions, and I will answer them live on this live stream. Game breaker. Anyways, let's get to the picture and for the rest of today. Locally, we're talking about clouds. Lots of them. Overall, I think the best way to paint this picture here for your Thursday is we still have tons of moisture, yes. Just not enough moisture to provide the rain showers anymore. We just have enough to provide the complete deck of cloud cover that's going to be with us throughout most of the rest of the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies overall. I will say we could see some peaks of sunshine in this afternoon, but we'll see a lot more. A whole lot more here for today, tomorrow. And then for exclusive content, for the past 3 days, we've been talking about nothing but Hurricane Francine, which is now a tropical depression. We're going to move on past that. We're going to go back to a Met Chat. We're going to look at what happened before Francine. Remember, it's been very quiet. It was quiet for about a month after Ernesto left. Francine, F-E-F, that's the next letter in the alphabet, next name. There was almost a month span of time where there was no named storms. And an above-average tropical season. It was kind of weird. We'll talk about why that is coming up in just a little bit. On top of that, we'll also preview Friday's episode here coming up, and we got a special one for that. We're going to be talking about sports. It's another sports weekend. We'll look forward to it. We got a special guest coming on as well. Hope you're excited. I hope you are excited again. Beverly, thank you for your comment on YouTube once again. you're welcome. This is what we this is what we live for. This is what we do. All right, let's get straight into the graphics now. I'm going to go grab my graphic clicker. Here we go. And there's going to check out the radar. Again, we're dealing with light rain showers mainly around Texarkana, but you can tell by the 30-minute loop that even the little showers that we see by Texarkana are slowly diminishing and drying out. It would be good if I could get the KSLA News 12 thing to go. You see that? I sometimes keep forgetting that the KSLA News 12 thing is right in this bottom right-hand corner. I have to click off it. There we go. Hi. I'm back again. Anyways, let's get a good look in Texarkana, actually, before going back into that radar real quick. So overall, yeah, cloudy skies is the name of the game here for today. Some peaks of sunshine coming on through. But overall, this cloud cover is actually going to help us out because it's going to keep our temperatures much cooler in store for today, especially compared to, say, the next couple of days when the sunshine comes back out. Yeah. Well, yep, you're going to be looking forward to the heat coming back soon. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But here's another look at it's a tropical depression, Francine, right now. It's pushing up northward throughout Mississippi, continuing northward up towards Memphis here. That's probably where it's going to land here for tonight. And pretty much the winds have died down, yes, but the main thing is that the rain has not. I mean, look at the east side of the storm. This is an example of the east side being the worst side, always, of a tropical system. This is why. I mean, we have rain clouds going all the way into the Carolinas, if not Western Virginia as well. Meanwhile, us here in the Arklatex, even though we're just off to the west side of the system, we're not getting too much. The clouds are drying out. We're still getting cloud cover, but from the system, but besides that, the rain is pretty much done. We're done with the rain here for the most part for the rest of the day. Let's get straight now into the future track, and let me tell you how that happened. So for the rest of this afternoon, maybe stray little bits of tiny popcorn showers here and there, maybe a brief downpour. You do see the cloud cover remains again for the rest of today. That's kind of by that shade of gray here. The future track does track onto clouds, still with us in for the rest of your Thursday. We're pretty much as soon as we get into Friday morning, that's when the cloud cover really starts to let loose. We'll get some beautiful sunrises working into the Arklatex once again. A beautiful day on for your Friday, and then heading into Saturday, do have a slight chance of some showers actually coming back here for Saturday afternoon and also Sunday afternoon too. Just a slight chance. Nothing compared to what yesterday was. I'm expecting pop-up afternoon showers here for the most part. Highs for today, 77 Mansfield, 77 in Shreveport. We got 78 in DeQueen. Lower 80s potentially in for eastern Texas. And yeah, once the sun comes back here for tomorrow, it is going to be hot. Not only is it going to be hot in the lower 90s, we have feels like temperatures maybe up into the mid to upper 90s because the humidity is the one thing that is going to remain behind the system. That is going nowhere. All right, so 20% rain chance here for the rest of today of just a spotty shower or two. We completely dry out for one day here for tomorrow, then pop-up afternoon showers possible for your Saturday and Sunday. Again, those high temperatures don't go anywhere. Overall, highs around 93, rounding out in the next Tuesday and Wednesday, with lows in the lower 70s. All right, so let's look at your local forecast. I don't see any comments on YouTube about any questions. I'll be here most of the for our third block coming back, heading into kind of the wrap-up of the episode. But next up, we're going to talk about exclusive content. We're talking about why it was so quiet before Francine. All four of us, me, Matt, CJ, and I, will be talking about that after the break. Be excited. We'll stick around for exclusive content after this. Hello and welcome to First Alert Weather Breakdown Met Chat Podcast. How are y'all doing? It's a glorious day. Well, not it's a glorious day here today, actually. Yeah, when we're recording this. That is. I got with me my. It could be worse. You are correct. We're talking with Austin, CJ, Matt, and myself. Tropics have been ramping up overall this past week or so. Yes, that's been true. But before that, I mean, meteorologists everywhere were hyping up. Oh man, it's going to be an above average season. Oh no, you better be watching out for this, and nothing has formed. It's been dull since Ernesto left in the middle of August, and even then, Ernesto was a fish storm, with the exception of Bermuda. I don't know if you remember that. That was the middle of August. Beryl didn't even happen. Beryl happened in early July. It's been a big, dull, zilch, zero, nothing out there. Big old donut for a month or so until this past week. But there's reasons for that. And it's kind of weird because it's perplexing at first when you look in the surface of things like, again, all these meteorologists called for an above average season. Where is it? Hello? Excuse me. I guess this is when you're 50% wrong. That kind of notion. But anyways, there's several reasons that we've discovered that we wanted to go over with you guys about. So let's talk about some of those reasons, shall we? Whoever wants to go first and kind of bring up a bullet point first.
We were affected by this particular topic, and in it, I don't know the process of forecasting this because I'm not a tropical forecaster, and I also don't live in the Saharan. But we were rather heavily affected by Saharan dust here in the Arklatex. It was creating some pretty bad air quality here, and some odd looking skies. Even clear days, the skies would be pretty gray. What that is wind coming off the tropical wind. They're called the tropics because of the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. The tropical wind picking up sand essentially from the Saharan, which is filled with it, and just carrying that over to the United States, but also in the process, it kind of shields where storms would develop from a lot of heating, much like temperatures here would struggle on a cloudy day. That dust can get thick enough to inhibit heating in the tropical waters that usually would spawn these storms, and that's been a big detriment. And like I said, I don't know if that is even a forecastable thing, because Saharan dust just kind of happens. So that's one of the big kickers. And looking at the storms that have impacted us, most of them have started fairly close. Well, the one that has impacted us started pretty close to the continental United States. It didn't start off the coast of Africa and then meander over the course of a couple of weeks. It was a rather fast thing. Burl was. So that's a big one. That's a really big one, and it's wild what you think is an insignificant thing. Saharan dust preventing what was supposed to be forecasted major hurricane season. And it just hasn't been to this point. And I know there are other topics that we're going to discuss that were also inhibitors, but Saharan dust is a big one. And at least when the Saharan dust on the opposite end of that, it helping us out with keeping the tropics quiet, it did hurt the air quality quite a bit here in the Arklatex. A lot, and I don't think anyone was affected greatly, but it could happen. And we were discussing that in detail when it was happening. But I know there are other issues or other inhibiting factors that y'all have to bring up.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in. So that's definitely a big one. Another one, which is kind of interesting, is that, a lot of these tropical systems kind of have their start out over Africa, like along the equator and the tropics there, the tropical rainforest in Africa. This is kind of the seedlings, kind of where these storms actually start on the continent of Africa, and then they make their way all across the Atlantic. I was looking at something kind of interesting, and a lot of the tropical waves this season have actually been coming off Africa at a higher latitude. So basically, they've been coming off Africa a little farther north than they normally do. And that's been hurting everything as far as tropical development, because as these systems come off the coast of Africa a little bit further north than they normally would, they run into colder water pretty quickly, because obviously the further north you get, the colder the water. So these tropical waves have been displaced farther to the north as they're coming off Africa, and they tend to die out pretty quickly once they hit that colder water, because they're just farther north to begin with. So I thought it was kind of interesting. And the Saharan Desert, obviously it's a desert, doesn't get much rain, but this year they've had record rainfall in those desert areas, which is highly unusual, and that's just because everything's been displaced farther north. I don't honestly know the reason why everything's been displaced farther north. It's very unusual. It wasn't forecasted, I don't think, but that's another reason why it's been a little quieter, just because these tropical waves are kind of in a bad position to begin with.
What is
I think
record
that's
rainfall in the Sahara? 2 inches?
Probably so.
I think that's pretty interesting too, because I remember last week, I believe Evan had made a post about there were 5 areas of development over in the Atlantic Ocean, and I think 2 of them were out in the just off the coastlines of Africa, and none of them formed. And
Yep.
actually, there are 2 more out there, possibly right now. At this time of recording, they're out there right now, but they have a high chance of formation too. They may be a little bit north of where they usually would form. But that is definitely something interesting to why they haven't been developing as fast as they should have. But also another reason why this hurricane season has been a little bit slow this time has been the variation of wind shear, not only in the Gulf of Mexico, but through most of the Atlantic Ocean. Actually, we are entering the La Nina season, which is part of the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which is mainly focused on the Pacific Ocean, which basically allows for the Pacific Ocean, the Eastern Pacific Ocean, to be cooler than average in terms of sea surface temperatures, and to have higher wind shear. And higher wind shear inhibits tropical development. Higher wind shear meaning the change of wind direction with height. So we need lower wind shear, more calmer wind conditions for tropical development to occur. And we've been experiencing lower wind shear when barrels started to move through. But another reason why we've been experiencing a more of a quieter period through the mid to late part of August and early September is because we've had higher wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico. And once the wind shear had gotten a little lower, that is what caused Francine to form and to move into the potentially into the United States, or as it did into the United States here. So yeah, the lower wind shear is what caused it, and La Nina actually causes the Atlantic Ocean to have warmer than average temperatures and lower wind shear. But we've just experienced a period of time where we had higher wind shear, and not much tropical development has happened during that time.
Yep.
I just wanted to. I have a point for like all 3 of your topics. First of all, thank you guys so much for sharing. Kind of fun examples to have, like, kind of expand and help more further explain some things from happening. First, the Saharan dust. I mean, it's almost like you breathing in Saharan dust, it kind of chokes you out, honestly. We talked about it's not good for air quality. So, especially for us here in the Arklatex, we have usually, high amounts of humidity. If you take that away and put in the dust, well, I mean, you're choking on dust. It's the same thing with the tropical system. It's hard to get it out of your system once it's there, and it kind of just dissolves the entire system altogether, honestly. It's hard for tropical systems to form around dust when it's basically choking out all the moisture, essentially.
Right. Yep.
Secondly, it's a first of all, just Matt's point, it's a rarity for those kind of storms to. I've never heard of that, especially rain in the Saharan desert. It's kind of a funky pattern you have going out in Africa.
Yeah, and
storms
it
coming
has
off
to,
Greece.
well, it also has to do with global weather patterns, which we won't really get into today because it's very complicated. But there's something called the Madden-Julian oscillation, which is
Oh, good
basically you
Lord.
look at global weather patterns around the whole world, and that could be part of it. What's actually going on way out in Indonesia and out in the Pacific Islands actually impacts our jet stream here, which is interesting. But that could be maybe one of the reasons I've read is that why everything's displaced north. Who knows? But weather's a very complicated thing. I mean, everything in the entire world is somehow connected. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's wild.
and we get deeper into the cooler season, we're going to start seeing that jet stream meander its way back south again,
Mhm.
and it maybe that could help, that could hurt. I know a few years ago we had hurricanes deep into December. We were
Mhm.
talking, alpha, beta, gamma on the names
Yeah.
because we ran out of names. So um, I don't see that happening. I guess it could. I'm not looking that far out. I'm focused on the next 12 days. But
Yeah.
Still another month away,
yeah,
at least.
At least, yeah.
I think was it Hurricane Michael? I think back in 2018 was almost Halloween. There were
I think it
jokes.
was.
All things considered, I know.
Michael
Chris will-
Myers.
Yes. Oh, I was just gonna say, disclaimer: Hurricane Michael did hit as a Cat 5, and I do feel
It
for those
did.
people in Panama City
Yeah.
that absolutely lost everything. Don't get me wrong, absolutely.
Mhm.
But there were memes out and jokes out about Michael Myers, about the storm hitting near Halloween a couple of years
Yeah.
back. So
Yeah.
wild.
hey, people use humor to cope. I get it. I do too. So
Oh, I
Yeah.
did too. Yeah. I would just want one last point. I think over CJ's wind shear. I like to think of wind shear as like a haircut, essentially. You're cutting. If you have more wind at top than at the bottom, it pushes the top of the clouds away. And
Right.
in order for more storms to be more potent and more powerful, you need a thick cloud. Basically, I like to think of it as the thicker cloud you have, the more power it has, the more rain it has, the more it
More
can
energy.
essentially do. If it's a
Right.
thinner cloud, it doesn't have as much moisture, it can't do as much. So if you have that wind shear that's basically hair cutting the top of the storm, you don't have as much power with the system anymore.
Right. And
Mhm.
what's interesting about that, I know we're probably getting short on time, but what's very interesting about that to me is that you actually need wind shear when it comes to severe thunderstorms like in the Arctic. You need wind shear for storms on land, right? But you don't want wind shear in the tropics. Go figure.
It's kind of weird.
You know?
Yeah.
At first I thought you were gonna say I need a haircut, which you are right. I'm getting one next week.
Oh, I thought you meant me. I probably need one too. It's okay.
We'll join the club. We'll go together. You'll see us with fresh looks next week.
you just get one.
Hey. Hey, man.
Anyways, yeah. So that's the three main reasons for tropical systems being kind of in the lull up until this last week. Again,
Mhm.
things kind of flipped a lot.
Right.
Even then, I did want to mention one thing about our tropical system in the Gulf currently. As of right now, we're recording this on Tuesday, September 10th. We will disclaimer that. But yeah, the system that's out in the Gulf right now. Why am I having an absolute? Guys, help me out. The name of the system in the Gulf right now.
Francine.
Thank you.
Francine?
I forgot about it for some reason. I don't know why. I've been talking about it all morning, and then just
You've been awake since 2 a.m. It's okay.
we're recording this at now. It's 11:30.
Mhm.
We're recording this for people. The disclaimer. Anyways, that system kind of formed off of the Gulf in itself, not
Mhm.
off of the coast of Africa.
Right.
Mhm.
To Matt's point, so
Yep.
that could still be ongoing. But anyways, it's a combo of those three reasons. But things are starting to wake up. We still have again another month of kind of peak tropical season before. I still think of another 2 months overall, the season overall until it ends in November. So even though temperatures are cooling down overall in the Arctic, that doesn't mean temperatures in the water are cooling down just yet.
Yep.
So
Very true.
Though I'd
Okay.
argue, considering the temperatures we're expecting this weekend, they're not cooling down that much.
oh no, it's gonna be hot and humid here for this
Yep.
weekend.
Yeah.
Back to that.
So
Mm.
all right, we'll talk to you later. Thanks guys for joining us here today. Appreciate it always. Again, it's a rare time when all four of us get together at one spot. All right, I'll toss back over to me at the desk. Wave bye, everybody, to me. Bye, Evan. Bye, Evan.
Bye.
Bye, guys. See you later. Goodbye. Hi. Quick note before we go. We got to skedaddle before we have another episode coming up at 11 o'clock. on our KSLA.com stream. Anyways, real quick, thank you for watching this episode. Join us again tomorrow at 10:30. On Friday, we'll talk about a sports forecast. We'll have Andrew Wellman here for the first time as an exclusive guest. We're going to go over the forecast, and we're going to talk about how weather impacts sports as well. We'll go into kind of hail, rain, wind, all those kind of things, how they can impact the football game. Join us again tomorrow at 10:30. I'll see you then. For the rest of your Thursday, have a good one. I'll see you again for Friday for the last day of the work week. Peace out.